everybody, I'm Stacey J.
And I'm Chuck Durant.
Here we go with part 2 with the fabulous Ann Ganguzza.
What is like maybe one thing that you do? I mean, I see you post all the time, you know, Jerry's fabulous Italian food dishes
Jerry,
and great pictures and all that stuff. And
he knows his way around a kitchen.
But when you're marketing yourself and you want to market, say, a specific company for, say, maybe you want to hit them somehow up for doing voice messaging for them.
Sure.
How do you lurk them? How do you find them? And then how do you maybe start a little conversation or something like that? Is there a process?
Well, I have a process with the building of my website and the writing of my website and how I formulate. But the basic, where everybody wants to come, where you want to sell your services is your website. So basically your social media channels want to kind of convolute bring everyone back to your website, because your website has, you know, who you are, how to contact you, and, you know, perhaps your demos and your samples of your work. So the website is kind of a core place to go, either a website or a place like SoundCloud, someplace where you can at least establish yourself as a voiceover artist. You know, you have to, nobody can hire you if they don't know that you exist. So if you don't have a website, it's not critical, but I mean, ultimately you want to have a website because you want to drive all your traffic back to the website. But if you don't, it's not the end of the world, but you can start posting your profiles. Even if you're not a member of Pay to Plays, you can put a profile up for free, and that will get you online. It will get you known to the world as, I am a voiceover artist, and you can hire me. So, as I said before, if they don't know you exist, they can't hire you. So start with your website and then tailor your website to your audience. So for example, for anybody that wants, to have me do a phone message, they don't necessarily know the term IVR. So I'm not gonna put search terms IVR. I'll put a few in there for those people that might search under IVR. But for the most part, people are gonna search for phone message or phone voice, that sort of thing. So in the content of my webpage, I'm creating content that has those words in it. And you have to kind of stay on top of how Google, because Google is probably the most popular search engine, how Google is actually working with searches. I mean, you search every day. I mean, probably. How many times do you type in Google? I mean, is it Google or is it Yahoo? I mean, I'm a Google.
I use Google all the time.
All the time. And so, and Google has its hand in a lot of different technologies. I mean, Google YouTube. I mean, it's just, and now Google's now having a new IP technology that's going to compete with ISDN. So as well as the other players in the market, but. If you Google something, just start testing it out on your own website and see where you rank and see if, you need to really create content, because Google now keeps finessing their search engine. And it used to be that you could populate it just with words, and now it's not quite that. They've changed their algorithms where it really is based on content. And so the key, I think, to good search engine optimization or SEO is to actually create good content. Create content that's worthwhile.
And isn't it, tell me if this is true, you don't have to have a 10-page website. You can literally have just a page.
One page is the best, and it's simple.
And demos or a video or and then links to all your social media buttons. I mean, it doesn't have to be this massive 20-page site.
And it doesn't have to, I mean, and again, it's one of those things people are like, well, I haven't branded, I haven't, I don't have a logo, I don't have, really, honestly, just get one page up that says, I'm Ann Ganguzza, here's my phone number, here's my email address, here are my demos. That, at the very least, get that up and running, and the world will not crash if you don't have a logo, if you don't have colors, that sort of thing. And the other thing, too, is pay attention to content. Content is king. Content is king. On a website, blogging is so popular, and it's so there's so much return on investment if you blog. In regards to people who search and do Google search. I mean, you'll be rewarded if you blog, and you blog good content, because you'll be easily found by people.
Absolutely. So that's for people finding you. What about you finding people?
Well, again, it's a Google search. If I want to search
companies that you want to work with, do you ever get proactive and say, I'm not going to wait for them to contact me. I'm going to contact them. I do.
Specifically, like e-learning companies, I would go and hunt them down online, and I would send them an introductory email. you know, introducing myself and saying that I do e-learning, you know, and that I had, and again, I draw from my experience because not only do I just do e-learning, you know, voiceovers, but I've had 20 years experience teaching. So that's what e-learning companies want. You know, they want somebody who has experience and that I'm passionate about teaching. And whenever they hear, you know, that, I think, you know, that's more attractive to them.
Absolutely.
You want to try to immerse yourself, if you will, in your brand and with your client, right? Because the more information you can find out about your client and come to them, you know, stating that, you know, you've done your research, you've done your homework, and you can strike up an intelligent conversation and actually say to them, here's what I can do for you. You know, you're way ahead of the game if you can start off and, you know, out of the gate like that.
Absolutely.
And that's why I call brand immersion. I call it.
I was going to say that you said
immersion.
that's your big thing for 2014 is brand immersion.
It's brand immersion.
Which, in addition to your bracelet, we have to hold. Let's hold this up.
Thank you.
Here. And you
Talking about brand immersion.
You hold it up to your camera.
Do we know what these are? Tell everybody what these are.
These are cable ties. Because
cable ties.
Everybody needs cable ties.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't care who you are, you need a cable tie.
And color-coded cable ties. So even if you're not, I mean, you know, even if you didn't know what they were, I mean, everybody can use cable ties.
And Anne even puts them in her hair.
That's right.
Yeah, she has cable ties
in case you need
in her hair right now because you never know.
I love it.
In case you need one.
So you have sort of made your mission for 2014 brand immersion.
Yes.
In a nutshell, what is it and how can people do it, use it, have it?
Essentially, it's committing yourself to a brand, at least starting somewhere. I mean, as I mentioned, you don't have to completely be freaked out and say, oh my God, I don't have a logo, I don't have colors. A brand, I'm a tech girl. I love technology. So I've made it a mission to try and tell my story and show people that I'm passionate about technology through my social media experiences and my social media posting. Whatever I do, it basically is going to display that I have a passion for this technology. Anybody that's connected to me in those social media circles, and again, I encourage people to reach outside of the industry. For people who want to hire you, LinkedIn's a great social media avenue to do that because you get those relationships and you can actually hook a lot of people that way. But you want to essentially grab your audience there, tell your story through your website, through your social media. I'm passionate about technology, and therefore people know that you're experienced in that area, and they can, and whether they need you now, they might need you later, and they'll say, oh yeah, Anne, she's a tech girl. So you know what, she'd probably be great. She'd be great at that. So that's ultimately what you want to accomplish. And so my brand is to tell my story, in social media, on my website, in face-to-face networking of who I am, what I'm passionate about, and how I can service you, the client. So, for example, if you were my client, VO Buzz Weekly, right? I want to kind of convey myself as a professional.
You would be an easy client.
Right? I want to convey myself as a professional with a little bit of an edge because that edge gives me a unique brand. Okay? So, you know, most people will say, okay, it's what she's wearing, but in reality, it's not just what you're wearing. It's not just colors. It's an essence, and it's an immersion of your mind, your physical appearance, your inside of you, whatever it is that it takes to connect you and to engage you with your client. So, for example, you know,
your nails are always
purple. I know, I've done my research about my client, right? I know that my client, I mean, not necessarily, it's subtle.
But you did, and that's good.
It's subtle, purple.
Oh, wow.
It's subtle. I have...
Put it there, baby. That's cool.
I have purple confetti on my toenails.
Purple confetti on the toenails.
It's like a party, a VO Buzz Weekly party.
Detail. Well, I think that that's something, too, that because it's voiceover, people say, oh, well, you don't see me. But it's still a visual business.
Exactly. And even if you don't see me, internally, I'm aligned with you. Whether you see me or not, if I'm in the booth and we're doing an ISDN or whatever we're doing, I can have my purple nails and I'm so VO Buzz right now. I'm so aligned with you, and I'm so whatever it takes. And like I said, you don't have to put nail polish on. You don't have to have purple eyeshadow. It's all in. It's inside you, and it's whatever it takes to get you aligned with the customer and the client, so that they know that you're interested in them. They love that. You know, they know that you took the time to show that you're interested, that really
in what they're all about.
In what they're all about, that really goes a long way.
Huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That was really great. I love that.
Well, and you are and you've been traveling all over the country.
Yes, it's
you
been
need
fun.
you need like a tour bus. But you're so effective with face-to-face networking, in addition to the online networking. And for a lot of people, that, oh my gosh, I'm standing in front of a decision maker can be really daunting. That a lot of people have said. Dave Courvoisier was on the show last month, and he was saying he's a natural introvert, and many people say that.
I'm shy.
How do you?
You're shy?
I am. I'm really shy.
I know, which is so funny because you would never guess that. So how do you, what are some ideas for people when they really need to make a connection, and maybe they only have an exchange down a buffet line at a party,
Sure,
and
where
maybe
you don't
they are
have
shy
a face-to-face.
Yeah. Well, I know it. You know, it takes courage. It does. It takes courage to get out there to network. And I used to be very, very worried when it was one of the reasons why I started VO Peeps too, was to kind of force myself to get out and network. And plus, we all know it's a kind of an isolating job if you're home in your booth a lot.
Yeah.
I need to get out, and I need to, it really does my creative mind good to get out and face-to-face network. And so you basically just have to, it takes courage to put yourself out there, but you can do it. And just understand, I mean, gosh, the best thing I can say is that, we're all human. We're all human, and if you try to find that angle that you have in common, for example, let's just say, Joe Cipriano, we were both from the East Coast. Yeah. So I could start with that. I didn't necessarily have to be, so completely nervous that maybe I was going to meet somebody and I didn't know what to say, but I had a starting point that wasn't necessarily like, oh, here, listen to my, how can you help me, or what can you do for me? It's essentially, hey, I'm from, the East Coast, and so you've started some semblance of something that you have in common that you can talk about. And so you don't go for the job angle when you're trying to network. You really are just going for the commonality that you have. I love, my Career Education Scholarship Fund, and I know that you guys are very much into charitable causes as well. And so that's a point in common that we have. And so you could strike up a conversation there. And that's really where you have to start in terms of networking.
And that's what we're talking about. The more you know about who it is that you're going to be meeting or talking about, then you can hit the areas that they're interested in. And now, because you're interested in them, they're naturally going to be interested in you if you're genuine about it.
Oh, that's an excellent point. And that's the other thing, is you need to be authentic. You need to, I mean, you can't fake the passion in reality. People really respond to authenticity. And I think that it just feeds. If I'm excited, and VO Peeps, people always say I'm so enthusiastic. I love the VO. I mean, I do. I love them. And so I dream about the VO Peeps. It's kind of crazy, but people people respond to that, and so whatever it is that you do in voiceovers, I always say, you take a character on when you're voicing something. Why not take a character on for your business? I mean, why not immerse yourself in your brand and become the character, become the brand, immerse yourself in it, and that essentially it's the same concept.
Well, and I want to say we've been talking about VO Peeps, VOPeeps.com. You have to check it out. Anne has created this amazing tool where she invites people into her home. Her incredible husband, Jerry, makes a feast beyond imagining.
He does.
And you do workout groups, you have events, you have such a presence, and it really gathers people. You have wonderful guests that come on the show. Sometimes you do your live feeds. You do so many different things, including the Scholarship Fund. For people that maybe can't be in Orange County, how can they be a part of it, or how can they know more about it?
Thank you for asking. They just have to go to VOPeeps.com and click on that membership tab. They can become members. It's free to join. And we stream all of our meetups live.
Wow.
On our Ustream channel. And
we our technology.
That's right. Just like VO Buzz Weekly offers their weekly videos, I offer my videos as well on VOPeeps.com.
So cool.
And again, it's a resource. It's a resource for everybody.
So there's really no excuse for people not to be plugged in to
That's
the
right.
VO Peeps.
They absolutely should. And one thing I want to mention, on the website I have a section called Meet the Peeps. And one of the biggest things I tell people to do right away when they want to get established as a voiceover artist and start getting business is to write a bio.
Absolutely.
There is nothing better than writing a good bio. I know nobody wants to do it. I don't know what the deal is here. If you write a good bio, you can use that over and over and over again. It can go on your website. It can go on your online profiles, anywhere, on pay to plays or on LinkedIn, everywhere. And that one bio can just be reused over and over again, and it can be used on the Meet the Peeps page. So I have hundreds of people that are part of VO Peeps. And if you actually look at my Meet the Peeps section, I don't have hundreds. I have maybe 50.
Sparse.
It's very sparse. And I tell people all you need to do is send me a bio, and a headshot. And I can't believe the amount of people who are afraid. They're like, oh yeah, I haven't written my bio yet. Write your bio. It's one of the best pieces of advice that I can give to you. In getting established. Again, people need to know who you are in order to hire you.
Well, and if you're standing face to face with someone and they go, okay, tell me about yourself. If you can't do like a 60-second mini bio, I mean, that's not a good thing. I mean, you need to be able to, and not just, okay, well, I was born and this is my, not just give a verbal resume, but just really say who you are.
Absolutely.
And that's why I think things like Twitter that have character restrictions is a good way to force you into how can I be concise about who I am in a hashtag or in a tweet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, that's really, really cool, because I tell people all the time, they tell me, do I need a bio? I said, absolutely, you need a bio. Do you need to wear clothes when you go outside? It's the only way, like you said, it's basically the key into your portal.
Absolutely.
Somebody comes to visit you, they need to see something, right, first, before they listen. And that's a big part of it. And also, a lot of people say, well, it's really hard for me to talk about myself. Don't. Do it in third party.
Right. Have somebody do it for you. Absolutely.
Your own best friend.
Or have somebody do it for you.
Or have somebody do it for you.
There you go. Yeah. A lot of times that makes it easier.
Give them $10.
But do it. It's one of the very first things you should do in reality, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you should join networking groups. You should join, a local networking group so that you can meet face to face. And even if it's not a voiceover group, I mean, find one if you can in your area. If you can't find one, start one. And if you don't necessarily want to start one, get involved in media, in media groups or anything that might be a market that could hire you. Right. There's a lot of business groups, business networking groups too that are around that you can look at meetup.com. Start getting yourself out on a regular basis and make it part of a discipline. Make it part of a discipline to get out there, force yourself to meet people, and get a business card. Again, like your website, if it's a white card and it's got your name, your email, and your phone number, that's it. Maybe what you do. That's it. It's okay. It's okay. Start with that. It's not critical, that you have that logo made, because so many people will wait years. How do I get a voiceover job? Well, it's been 3 years. They've been doing it for 3 years, but they don't have a business card yet because they don't have their logo finalized.
Absolutely.
So
sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of logoed to death anymore. That sometimes it's just something very simple. Your monogram, even. I mean, just something that's just clean and simple. Sometimes that's better than
what are
all the bells.
This is really important because we just talked about a bunch of things that you can do that are good to do. What about a couple of things in regards to marketing when you're out there and you're putting yourself out there that maybe you should not do?
That's a good question.
She's like, I don't know, because I don't do that.
Remember, and never does what she's not supposed to.
I switched directions. I switched directions. Well, like I said, in reality, when we were talking about a little bit too much information, you don't want to make yourself to be too hard to work with. Make yourself easy to work with. Easy, fun, likable. And anything that you could potentially post that would make you anything less than a likable, fun, professional person.
Well, but I think that maybe the misconception is that because it's digital, because it's online, it's not the same as being in a face-to-face business meeting. It's still a business.
Right, exactly.
And even social media, yes, it may be personal, but it's still part of your business. And so I think if...
so you have to act in a professional manner. You want people to be able to work with you, hire you, and know that you're reliable, dependable. Again, you have to, your brand, again, is something that's going to make you more unique, and people want to hire you. So you have to kind of stand out from the crowd. Right. In your own way.
You are such a chameleon, and so sometimes making changes in your brand can be tricky. Change can you talk about, okay, if you feel your business evolving or your brand evolving, how can you make those changes effectively without being jarring and, oh my gosh, I thought that she was this and now she's this?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, I've kind of channeled it out into different avenues. So as I've evolved in my brand, I have more than one brand, really. I mean, it's, you know, a telephony.
You have like 35
IVR.
Brands, right?
Well, and I can, you're right. But for the most part, I like to create an image that I'm professional, you know, tech savvy, you know, intelligent, hopefully, that comes off to people, and that's somebody that people would want to work with. And so within that realm, I have, you know, telephony IVR, and then I have my website for that. I have, you know, specific things that I will, you know, post on my business Facebook page that will be relevant to that. For example, I went and saw a data wall, you know, video wall technology demonstration the other day. Of course I posted that.
Those are fun.
Yeah. Oh, they're awesome. And of course I posted that on my Facebook page, knowing that people will understand that I enjoy that. I enjoy technology. So again, I'm telling the story.
Exactly.
Everything that I do, everything that I post online is there's thought behind it. So I would recommend that people think before they post.
Absolutely.
Because it lives there a long time.
It does.
Yeah. And one thing that I'll just add this, and I this is true, is that obviously we know Anne, we've known you for a while now, and one thing that we've learned from you is this, that who you are in person, just hanging out, is the same person that you are when you're doing anything that you're doing. And so really the brand is you.
Yes.
You're not pretending to be anybody else except for who you truly are. And that's what makes you A, so lovely, B, so sellable, and everybody loves you. I mean, because they can trust you.
Well, they know
because it's authentic. That's excellent.
And that's
you just brought it full circle.
That's the same with you. When you go to demos.rock.com,
exactly,
you get it, and then when you walk in and meet you, you go, oh yeah,
I've known you forever. It's like I've known you forever. And so when people meet you, let's say I meet a lot of people that, you know, I've been friends with on Facebook, and so it's always good when you expect who it is when you see them in person.
Exactly. And when it is, you're like, oh, it makes perfect sense.
And you want to you want people to feel like they've known you forever. And I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, oh my God, I feel like I've known you for years already. And it's true. It's an authentic brand. And if you are, and how easy is that?
Well, and you can sustain that.
Exactly.
If you're being authentic, if you're like, oh, who am I? What am I? And then you can get tripped up. I mean, if it's not like you're playing a role in a movie.
And you can experiment.
You're playing, this is your life.
You can experiment a little bit. You know what I mean? You kind of just take baby steps in terms of evolving a brand. So say that you want to get more into the medical industry. You know, you can kind of tiptoe in it a little bit and kind of, you know, post a couple of things that say that, you know, you've got some medical savvy, or, hey, picked up the physician's desk reference, you know, the other day.
I bought some Band-Aids today.
Right, exactly. Or something like that to kind of start the story. That you're interested in it and that medical somehow comes into play. Or you find, you know, the best medical term of the day. Medical term of the day. There you go.
That's
you
beautiful.
just do a tweet, you know, for the medical term of the day.
Exactly.
Or something like that.
Right away, everybody's going to know
gonna say,
you're into medical terms.
Exactly.
It is my dream to say and be paid to say inhaled corticosteroid.
There you go.
I don't know why. I just love it. See, it makes me happy. It makes me happy.
See?
My favorites are the medical disclaimers.
Oh my gosh.
May cause, and we're not going to get into. Those are fun.
Those are fun.
Let's talk a little bit more about VO Peeps. We know why you started the whole thing and all that stuff, but please give us a little immersion into the whole VO Peeps thing and the things that you have coming up with VO Peeps.
Great. Awesome. VO Peeps has just grown so much in the past few years, and I have to say I'm so proud of it. And we started in 2009. Again, it was kind of a brainchild of myself that I needed to get out and network with people face to face. I missed teaching, and so I kind of wanted a group of people, you know, that would get together and we could discuss voiceover. And so the first local group was formed. And then, of course, with my experience in the education field with distance learning, I thought, oh my God, and my love for the internet, you know, I want to be able to share this knowledge and the resources, because there's a lot of people out there, obviously, in this industry that are not, you know, in the large markets, and so it's hard for them to really, you know, connect and get together with other voiceover artists. So VO Peeps and the streaming was formed, and I remember my first my first live stream was at my coffee table with my laptop and my Logitech camera, and I just hit record and said, here we go. And I loved it. And so I've evolved since then.
So you didn't wait until it was perfect?
I didn't wait until it was perfect. I evolved. And the really great thing was the fact that I wanted to bring education to the voiceover industry forced me to network with top people in the industry, such as yourselves. And so where I might be shy, right? How great is it for me to come up to you and say, you know what, I've got this group and I'd love for you to be a guest speaker. I mean, what a great way for me, what a great, you know, segue to get to know you better and for you to know me than to ask you to speak at my VO Peeps meetup. That's really a great marketing ploy. So everybody start your own group.
Well, no, and it's true. But we had the same, you know, thing when we started because, you know, our set, we laugh about it. You know, the couch was down to here, the guest chair was up to here. Nothing was perfect, and it still isn't perfect. We're always evolving, but we could still be waiting. We would still be waiting. And I remember the first time we met you was at Voice 2012, and you talked about point of common. Anne had these great little VO Peeps bird tattoos with her logo. And, you know, Chuck has a tattoo. So you were talking about that. And then we connected that we love animals and cats.
Yep, we did. And I was nervous to meet you guys, too, because I'd heard so much about you. And I was like, oh, my God, should I go tattoo them? Should I?
You know, and I want to show, we have a picture of us. Look at that. There we are.
Oh, that's great.
But it was so great. I mean, we had the voice, but I don't even think we talked about voiceover.
We didn't.
We talked about tattoos, and we talked about hair, and we talked about animals and cats, and it was great, and we just connected on a human level.
Exactly.
Which is great.
And right after that, you know what I said? She's really cool.
Yes.
That's what I said.
Awesome.
That's exactly what I said.
That's great.
And I'm still saying that.
And hopefully like as a client, right, in our businesses, people will say that about us and that they'll want to work with us and they'll remember us.
Yeah.
And so you make yourself memorable. Again, brand, immerse yourself in your brand, in your passion.
Well, and you even go a step further. You have the Career Education Scholarship Fund that you started, which I think is amazing, and you need to tell people about that. Because
well, I'm super, super proud of the Career Education Scholarship Fund, and I went to the local chapter of the MCAI, the Media Communications Association International, and asked them to be a fiscal sponsor so they could be my 503c. And so essentially it's a tax-deductible donation for those of you that would like to donate. And ultimately, it was because the group had gotten so large. When you have a group that becomes that large, it just, I don't know, to me, it just became like a natural thing to want to give back.
Sure.
We had so many talented, wonderful individuals, you know, in one group that how could we not? How could we not give back? And so the idea for the scholarship fund was born, and I just started asking people, and it's amazing because people are so wonderful and so giving in this community, and all you have to do is ask. And I find that, you know, I got the courage from when I would ask people to come and guest speak, people that I never knew and I was afraid to go up to, and I said, would you please consider possibly speaking, the two of you, would you please consider speaking at one of my meetups? And you're like, yeah, sure. And it amazed me how generous and kind everybody was in this community. So I thought, well, the scholarship fund will probably follow suit. And it really has. I have to say, everybody's been just so wonderful. And the more that, the more scholarships that are keep coming, the more I get. It's insane.
Well, and you've raised tens and tens of thousands of dollars that you give to people to help further their career.
Their career, yeah, absolutely.
Which is amazing.
Since we started it in January of 2012, we've raised, we've given away over $16,700 in scholarships.
Wow.
So it's fabulous, and there's more to come. And so I just am so incredibly proud. And there was a thread on my Facebook page from one of the scholarship recipients today who was just moved to tears by her experience. She got some coaching sessions, and she just got so much out of them that she was moved to tears, and she felt compelled to write that. And I was just, that's so wonderful to be able to give somebody that gift.
Are you like the first one to come up with a voiceover scholarship?
I don't believe so.
I never heard of it before.
There was a scholarship I remember in Voice. I think there was a scholarship that was consolidated before for Voice 2010, I believe.
Well, but an ongoing.
But an ongoing one.
I don't know.
That is such a fabulous blessing.
It's a beautiful thing that you're not saying,
so cool.
oh, this is mine. You're saying, I want to help someone else realize their dreams. And that's just a statement on who you are, which is
wonderful.
Fabulous.
And if you want to find out more, that's vopeeps.com/donate.
Yes.
Yeah. And you can find out
all
about...
Don't just find out more. Click the donate tab like we all did and help some people out.
Thank you.
Yeah,
we've got some great ones coming up.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Yeah, a few dollars adds up, you know.
It really
doesn't have to be thousands of dollars.
It really does.
You know, it adds up.
Thank you. And I want to make, and I want to just say that yes, the dollars really help, because what we've been starting to do lately is if we offer a scholarship to a conference, we can now start with the cash donations, we can start adding in travel expenses. So it really can be accessible to everybody. I don't want it to just be accessible to people local here, you know, to the area. I want it to be global. I want other people to be able to. Thank you.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Thank you for supporting it. You guys are wonderful supporters.
Oh, we'd love to support.
Yeah.
Anything Ganguzza does, we have to support.
And Ganguzza.
Because that's how we roll.
We do. Anne, love Anne.
Ask her that.
Anne, what do you think, up to this point, have been the keys to your success in your life?
Ooh, good question. Let's see. The keys to my success is following my passion and really wanting to make an impact and staying committed to that. Everything that I do, I need it to make an impact, and I need it to matter.
Yeah.
And I really truly believe that if I follow that, that will bring success for me. It will bring success to my heart. It will bring success, you know, and that's really, I think, what it's all about. It's just to stay true and committed.
Amen. I agree.
Let
with
me tell you
100%.
something. It's working. It's working.
Thank you.
Heck yeah.
Thank you so much for all you do.
Oh yes.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, it was
love
amazing.
you so much, and we are just huge supporters of everything you do. And I mean, the sky is beyond the limit for you.
Absolutely.
We're so excited.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for VO Buzz Weeklying yourself out with the bling and everything. And
gorgeous.
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 There's hair. There's purple hair.
Purple hair.
Thank you, darling. Love
Good
you.
to see you. Love
Thank
you
you.
too.
You're so awesome. We will see you guys next time.
Hey guys, this is Anne Ganguzza, and I just got buzzed with Chuck and Stacy. Love those guys. VO Peeps.
Well, that concludes our segment with the wonderful Anne Ganguzza. And hey, Jerry,
fire up the pasta.
We're coming over for some of that Jerry Ganguzza pasta. Yum, yum, yum. And we'll see you guys next week with another episode.
Yes, we will. And keep up with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, you guys, at VO Buzz Weekly. Take care, and just remember, you always have time for a little buzz.